Good morning, one and all. Rob here with you this morning, and it's 10:30. 10:30 on the dot Eastern time. 7.5 hours left till the trade deadline at 6 p.m. Eastern time this evening on the East Coast, 3 p.m. on the West Coast. It's generally a 4 o'clock deadline. This year it's extended to 6. Um, I don't think very many day games are going on today, which that helps, I think. But now you got so many names in the mix. Obviously, the Juan Soto situation. Where's he going? Um, Reports on television, reports on the line say Juan Soto in a package with Josh Bell may go to San Diego before it's over with. I think Soto stays put. I think Soto will stay put in Washington. I don't think he's going anywhere. Um, Josh Bell, on the other hand, I think he's gone. I think he will be gone. 6 or 8 teams could go after him. I'm hearing that the Cleveland Guardians are looking at either a Nelson Cruz trade or possible a Josh Bell trade if they can get them by themselves. They do not want a package deal there. Patrick Corbin of the Washington Nationals, he could be another one on the move. We'll see what happens there before it's all over with. Shohei Ohtani, by all accounts, the Angels have turned off any negotiations there. I don't understand why. I would trade Ohtani quicker than I would Soto from Washington. Ohtani only has one more year left on his deal. In fact, I think this year is his last year. He's a free agent. The Angels are going nowhere. You trade Ohtani, you get yourself a king's ransom for him. Probably it would be a blockbuster, but even if he stays in town in L.A. and plays for the Dodgers, they've got so many pieces. What's up, Tim? I don't think he will. I've said all along, I don't think he gets traded. What pressure does Washington have to trade him? They've got 2 more years to hold on to him. And nobody right now San Diego is not wanting to give up that pitcher they want. They're wanting a couple of players too, and a sweetener, and they want some money. I don't think Washington's going to get all that. Of course, they're saying that they'll add Josh Bell to the deal. Well, San Diego would only want to get Bell if they can get him by noon today. They want to deal him. They do not want Josh Bell and Juan Soto. But if they have to take him in the deal with Soto, I'm sure they'll grab a hold of him and say, "Okay, now we've got Josh Bell out here. What are you going to give for him?" And sell him. Cleveland, by all accounts, wants Josh Bell. Cleveland, by all accounts, wants Nelson Cruz. They're wanting to strengthen their schedule, strengthen up. Boston, what the hell are they doing? They trade Vasquez. They trade Diekman. But then they go acquire Tommy Pham from the Reds. I think they're spinning around in circles. I don't think they have any idea. Jorge Lopez going to the Twins. That was just reported like 30 seconds ago. Something new on the line right now. Soto may be included with pitcher starting pitcher. Soto and a starting pitcher may end up being included in the deal going. Um, you're all in for that trade, huh? Madison Bumgarner. The Giants have, not the Giants, the D-backs have almost said that they're not going to trade him now. Expect him to be gone. Expect him to be gone. Madison Bumgarner, I think he'll be in a Phillies uniform by the end of the evening. I really do. Ian Happ, Toronto is going after him now. George Springer has an injury. George Springer is out. We don't know for how long. Mike Trout is out. We don't know for how long. But the Angels, by all accounts, are sellers. They are not buyers. So Ian Happ, I think by the end of the afternoon, Ian Happ by the end of the afternoon is either a Blue Jay or a Philly. By all accounts, earlier last week, I said he was going to be a Philly. I still think he goes to Philadelphia. Wilson Contreras now. The Rays have built in a little bit of an interest there, as well as for Happ. Kevin Kiermaier is out for the year. Kevin Kiermaier is out. That's a huge loss for the Rays. The Rays are not out of this thing by any stretch of the imagination. They may try to go after Wilson Contreras and Ian Happ in a trade. They've got numerous minor league pieces they could give up in that situation. I'll tell you a name that we have not heard hardly anything from, but I think slowly it's going to pick up steam. 1, 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon is Charlie Blackmon. Charlie Blackmon could be on the move. Chris Bryant's out. He's got plantar fasciitis. He's having trouble with his feet. He was a piece that they brought in to try to help him, and now he is hurting them. And I'm talking about the Rockies. I think Charlie Blackmon could end up being gone by the end of the afternoon, possibly to Tampa. Don't be surprised if Charlie Blackmon goes to Tampa. I would otherwise say maybe there's a chance to go to Philadelphia, but they're left-handed. They are stacked left-handed. I don't think they go that route. I think they're going to go more with the Ian Happ situation. Nelson Cruz. Nelson Cruz, by all accounts, Cleveland wants him. Philadelphia wants him. St. Louis would love to have Nelson Cruz as well. We'll see what happens there. Joey Gallo. He is on the trade block in New York, but they do not want to hand him over for free. Texas is in the running for him. We'll see what happens there. Texas just acquired somebody. I think it was Jake Diekman from the Red Sox just a little earlier today. I don't know where the Red Sox are going. Are the Red Sox buyers? Are they sellers? Are they just trying to get the best deals possible right now? Teams like Washington, teams like the Angels, teams like the D-backs, teams like the Marlins. The Marlins have not said anything. They've been quiet. They are teams that could try to get good players in and trade minor leaguers themselves if they could get control of a player. A Soto situation. Why? What's up, Keith? Why wouldn't you go after Soto if you're 20 of the teams out there? You're not paying a huge amount of money to him. You got 2 years worth of. So we'll see what Rafael Devers and Bogart's both going to be in their signing year this year. Twins acquire Jorge Lopez from the Orioles. Orioles are sellers. Orioles are 3 games out and they're sellers. That's showing you exactly what's going on. Joe Musgrave, 5 years, $100 million by the Padres. They are going all in right now, no doubt about it. But right now, on the wire, they're even putting bets in Vegas on this. 40% chance. 40% is pretty high too. Soto and Josh Bell go to San Diego. I know Washington wants that pitcher. If they can get that pitcher that they're looking for, that might end up happening. And obviously, Washington wants money. Washington wants money. There's no doubt about that. Shohei Ohtani right now. That's a piece that should be out there. He should be right now, even above or right there with Soto. They should be showing him off, selling him all the way. Why wouldn't you? You sell right now, you get as much as you can. Their minor leagues are depleted. You want to talk about a depleted team? That's a team that's depleted. Orioles are disgusting. What a cheap franchise. I feel bad for the Oriole fans. Yeah. Got a question for you guys out here. Every team in the major leagues in the last 17 years have had at least 30 home run guys, except one team has not had a one. One team in the major leagues in the last 17 years has not had any 30 home run guy. Anybody know what team that is? Don't look it up, guys. Don't look it up. Think in your head. Don't look it up on your phone. Yeah. We came back. What's up, Alan? We got back actually Sunday evening. Yeah, for a cheap team, yeah, the Orioles are playing well. Josh Hader gets traded from Milwaukee. I don't understand but Milwaukee actually in that trade really did well. They traded Hader to San Diego. They get San Diego's closer, who's actually pitched better than Hader this year, and they get three other players as well in that deal. Brewers do well in that trade. Not bad at all. So we'll see what happens there. Noah Syndergaard. That's another name we haven't heard very much about. By all indications, he's coming back east. Could be Philadelphia. It could be Milwaukee. Don't be surprised if Milwaukee ends up getting Syndergaard. But I think there's a chance that Philadelphia may get him. Ian Happ's situation right now. There's the hotline or their trade deadline, the wire is saying there are 3 teams now in for Ian Happ. Not just Toronto, not just Philadelphia. We'll see what happens there. 7 hours, 15 minutes left. The Braves just acquire Robbie Grossman from the Tigers. And the Tigers get a minor leaguer. The Royals acquire Luke Weaver from the Diamondbacks, and they give up 3 minor leaguers for him. Did the Orioles deal anyone besides Mancini? Yes, Keith. Yes. They have done some dealing today. They are sellers, and they're gonna get. I get that deal. He was 30, and the team could get something for him. It is too early for them to buy. Well, the thing is, if you're gonna buy, you got to buy today. I mean, you know, to me, if you're going to show goodwill toward the Orioles got to make some kind of move. Whether it's just to go out and get Madison Bumgarner, do something. But yeah, Luis Castillo now is a Mariner. Luis Castillo is a Mariner. Who else is getting traded? We will see what happens. Phil Singer or Slow. They completed my order on Friday. I ordered it the 19th. Now waiting for it to ship. I got you. Tiger Woods rejected $800 million to join Live Golf. Yes. You are correct. In fact, at first it was reported it was $750 million. Then it went to $800 million. We'll see what happens there. Twins get Jorge Lopez from the Orioles. So they are sellers. The Orioles are selling now. Jorge Lopez has been traded to the Twins, and we'll see what goes there. The J.D. Martinez sweepstakes seems to be heating up. No, he doesn't need the money. You're right, HG. The J.D. Martinez stakes seem to be heating up. The Mariners, as well as the Twins, as well as the Guardians, they're all talking to the Red Sox about acquiring J.D. Martinez. I know the Red Sox want some minor league pitching or some pitchers. They want starting pitchers. They are not looking so much for relief pitchers. They got rid of Jake Diekman earlier in the day. He went to Texas. So they are unloading, it looks like. What was that stat comparing LeBron James' salary to the WNBA? Yeah, LeBron James is making 3 times what the total WNBA league paid this year. I just put that one out there. Yeah, still a question that I gave to the whole chat room a little while ago. Every team in the major leagues has had at least 3 30 home run guys in the last 17 years, except one team. One team has had no 30 home run hitters. Who is that? Don't look it up on your phone. Just try to think. What team in the major leagues has had no 30 home run hitters in the last 17 years? HG, most all that money's up front. Most all that money is up front they're paying them. They're paying them up front. And then they have the right of refusal if they you're correct, Alan. It was just I was just looking at it the other day, and I was just like, that was crazy stuff, though. And I agree, they can't generate the revenue. You're right. Mike Trout's back injury on the 4 and 5 vertebrae right now. They're actually going to have it looked into again. So we're going to end up seeing what's happening about that. Anytime you're talking back injury and you're talking about somebody over age 30 and somebody carrying as much weight as Trout is, he's 250. He's 245, 250. He's got a lot of weight he's carrying. We're going to see what happens there, but I don't think it can be good. You're talking back injury, back problems. That's not a good thing. George Springer of Toronto right now. He is out, and by all indications, the Toronto Blue Jays are all in on Ian Happ. The Ian Happ situation. We'll see what happens there. The Royals have been quiet. The Royals have been relatively quiet. They traded Benintendi to the Yankees the other day. What are they willing to get rid of Merrifield? Whit Merrifield has kind of been the piece that grew up in Kansas City. I don't know if they would be willing to get rid of Whit Merrifield. You would have probably 5 teams, maybe more than that, bidding for him. The Royals could probably get a good asking price on him. Baltimore, in that trade for Jorge Lopez, gets left-handed pitcher Povich, right-handed pitcher Cano, right-handed pitcher Nunez, and left-handed pitcher Rojas. So they're getting 4 pitchers in that deal right there for Jorge Lopez, the reliever from the Orioles. They get 4 prospects. And everything is getting finalized in that situation right now. Charlie Blackmon, I'm coming back to his name. Um, Chris Bryant, last Wednesday, I'm sorry, was found to have plantar fasciitis. That's foot injury, foot problems. You start having foot problems, a lot of players do not last long with foot problems. And Bryant looks like he's going to be out some significant time at times the rest of the year. Now, he may not miss, game after game, but he may be one that can play 2-3 games and then be off a couple. And that, kind of this part-time role or 70% role. If that situation persists, or they predicting that, Charlie Blackmon has to be up there trying to get traded right now. I don't understand why you wouldn't try to trade him. We'll see what happens there. Um, also, I'm even hearing that the Dodgers even entertaining chances of trading Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw's in the south end of his career. We know that. They've got 7 starting pitchers right now, and they do not feel like they can sit down Kershaw. The easiest way to do is trade him. What would they want for him? I'm sure they would probably want a couple of infielders and maybe a relief pitcher right now to help that bullpen out. Madison Bumgarner. Yesterday, I'm hearing that Bumgarner is no longer available. This morning, I'm hearing the D-backs are willing to listen to more offers for Bumgarner. I know Philadelphia's interested in him. I know that the Mets are interested in him, but they want him in a bullpen role. And I'm not sure the bullpen is exactly where he needs to be right now. We'll see what happens there. The Reds, I don't know what kind of situation they're going to be in as trying to sell the rest of the day, but you got to figure they're going to be trying to sell some pieces and parts if they can, since they got rid of their ace yesterday. Wilson Contreras, 3 teams now. Now 3 teams are up in the Wilson Contreras situation. San Diego, New York Mets, and the Tampa Bay Rays. So we'll see what happens there. Kansas City, the Royals, no, they're not the team that has not had a 30 home run hitter in the last 17 years. It's a different team. I got you, Keith. Noah Syndergaard. We'll see what ends up happening with him. By all indications, that's another guy that Philadelphia wanted to look into. We'll see what happens there. But it's not the Royals. They're not the team that's went 17 years without a 30 home run hitter. It's not the Royals. Juan Soto now. Juan Soto. And look, if you're talking about one last gasp, why doesn't the Reds get rid of Joey Votto? Get rid of Joey Votto. Go out and get yourself 2 or 3 minor league pitchers. Votto, I think, is in the last year of his contract. He may have one more year. Chances are he may retire at the end of the year. If you need power, you need good punch, why wouldn't you go after him? Why wouldn't you? A team like the Yankees, why wouldn't you trade, get rid of the other guy that they had, what's his name? Gallo, Joey Gallo. Paid 90% of his paycheck this year. Let's see what happens there. But Joey Gallo and Joey Votto, I think they both could go. Joey Gallo is going to go to a team that's willing to take him on. The Padres, no, they are not the team that has not had a 30 home run hitter uh, in the last 17 years. It's not the Padres. Nope. Is it the Tampa Bay Rays for no 30 home run hitter? It is not the Tampa Bay Rays. No, it is not the Rays. And each one of these teams you're talking about has had at least three. Think about that. In the last 17 years, every team in the majors have had at least 30 home run hitters. It may have been they may have went back to back with the same guy, but at least 30 home run seasons. Could be different people, could be the same guy. Or I said Padres there. Okay, Padres is not the Padres though. Is it the Washington Nationals? No, no. Harper was there. Harper, he ended up hitting 30 over a couple times there. But one team has went 17 years without a 30 home run hitter. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. Josh Bale, that's another interesting name right now. We see that he's linked with Soto going to the Padres possibly, which I still say it does not happen. Yeah, Harper hit 30 for the Nats. That's right. So it's not the Nationals. It's not. Alan, you just saying Chicago. Chicago has two teams. The Bale Soto situation, I think Bale goes before the day's over with. I think Soto stays put. I really do. I think Soto will stay put in Washington. And at year's end, you may see somebody take him, and you got more time then to talk about him. White Sox, no. Cubs, no. But we'll see how that works there with Soto. I think, and either put a yes or no up here in the comments, okay? Let's do it for the next 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Juan Soto gets traded. Yes. Gets traded. No. What's up, Slouse? I say he doesn't get traded. I say he just get traded. Welcome. You're more than welcome to be here. We're talking about MLB trade deadline. Juan Soto, Josh Bell. The Nats are in some serious talks with the San Diego Padres right now about Soto and Bell going to that team. Slough says yes to the Padres. I say no. And I'm just talking about Soto. I'm not talking about Bale. I say Soto will stay put. I don't think they're going to get the pitcher that they're looking for. I don't think they're going to give up everything. We're under 7 hours now before the trade deadline is over. Tim says no for Soto. I agree. I don't think Soto will get traded. I think there's a darn good chance he goes to the offseason this year and gets traded then. And that's when a lot of people during free agency is going to go after Soto because he's going to be cheaper than most free agents. Better player, cheaper cost. Yeah, you'd be nuts not to at least look into it. Where are you from? Who's your favorite team? I am from Virginia. My favorite team, American League, is Boston. National League is Philadelphia Phillies. Is a trade? Look at that. Oh, we got a little twist here. What is happening here? 6 p.m. is the trade deadline. There's a growing sense that the Padres are the most likely landing spot for Soto. Perhaps Josh Bell as well. Yep, and I've said that all along. Bell is going to be part of that deal if he ends up going anywhere. If Soto goes somewhere, Bell's going to be part of that deal. Washington they want to unload salary in the worst way. They really do. That's why they're also looking to get rid of their pitcher as well. So we'll see what happens there. I just think the asking price for Soto is going to be really, really exorbitant. I think you can go other areas. You can go get JD Martinez. You can go get Josh Bell. You can go get Nelson Cruz. You can go get Wilson Contreras at a much cheaper price. Ian Happ, Joey Gallo right now. If you got bargain bin prices, Joey Gallo should be there. Um, there's no way the Yankees want to be paying him to set the bench pretty much. So let's see what happens there. Dodgers have, and this is what's crazy. Their minor leagues are just packed. They have top prospects everywhere. I mean, candidates to take a trade. Diego Cartaya, catcher. Bobby Miller, a right-handed pitcher. Michael Busch, a second baseman and a first baseman. Andy Page is an outfielder. Miguel Vargas, Ryan Pepiot, Landon Knack. They're 1 through 7 in the organization as far as their minor leaguers. Was a reason given why the deadline is August the 2nd this year instead of July 31st? They did not want the 31st. They did not want it to end on a Sunday. They wanted to end during the week for 2 or 3 reasons. MLB wanted to have full coverage of it. The wires on the weekends, especially some of the staffers, don't work weekends for some of the teams. Some of the office staffers, they don't work Saturdays and Sundays. And they made it a Tuesday for a couple of reasons. The 6 p.m. start ending time was with the thought that they would have all the teams not starting until a 7 o'clock, at least a 6:30 or 7 o'clock time, where they would not take anything away from the deadline show. And that's exactly why they're doing it, for ratings, and also kind of out of necessity for some of the office members of some of the teams. Toronto, I don't even think it's legal for them to have office staff working in their offices on the weekends. I think that's a Canadian type thing, but I don't think they can do it. I think in California, they have problems if they work over a certain amount of hours in the office settings too. So there's problems there. That's why they got them doing this. G-Puck says, I'm here in Boston, and Jay's checking in on Evaldi now. Yeah. Nate Evaldi, his name has come up just in the last little bit. Nate Evaldi could be traded. He could end up going to Tampa. It wouldn't surprise me. The source for Evaldi, it's Sporting News Line in Boston. Just looking at that, they need a starter and some bullpen help. Man, yeah. Heard the Jays could land Syndergaard. They could. The Jays are in on a lot of them. Ian Happ, Syndergaard, Nelson Cruz, Josh Bell, they're in on all of that. JD Martinez, they're in on all these players. But Philadelphia pretty much is too. But the one wild card for JD Martinez is Seattle is really, really looking into him. They've got a ton of prospects. I mean, just a ton of prospects. That's where I think JD Martinez goes. Ohtani, they have not opened the gates back up on Ohtani yet. I don't understand why. You're going nowhere. You're not doing anything. You've been treading water, for the last 10 years, 15 years. You're not doing anything. And why wouldn't you trade Ohtani? He's not putting asses in seats right now. He's just not. They're not drawing that great. If Trout is healthy, if he gets back to healthy, they'll get as many people in there as you know as he can draw. But that's about it. Rendon, that trade has been god awful. Papa Maluga. That trade is not the Rendon trade has not been what the Angels were hoping for. Noah Syndergaard has not, he's not come through for them. There's a lot of big names that have not come through, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, Ohtani needs to be traded, and I'll tell you, if I'm a team, if I'm the Angels, my asking price for Ohtani would be more than Soto, even though you're going to be giving up one huge ass salary. You got a guy that can pitch every 6 days and take that DH spot out right there. And he can bat second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth in your lineup. Where do you think Wilson Contreras gets traded to? By all accounts right now, there's 3 teams that's in the lead for him. The Padres, the Mets, and the Rays. If I were a betting man, I would say the Rays. I think the Rays, and the thing is, Ohtani's also a left-handed bat. My goodness, if you're in New York, or you play in the National League East, if you're Toronto, right? If you're Toronto, if you're the Rays, how can you not look at Ohtani right now and think, there's a chance that I could go get this guy right now. He's still got one more year of control after this year. Now, Soto's the deal of everybody, though. If you've got minor leaguers that you can give up and it's not going to hurt you, Soto's the deal of the century. You've got 2 more full years after this year. You've got control of Soto. You don't have to keep him after this year. And that's what would have made all the sense in the world had Baltimore not been sellers. They could have said, bring him across town. We want him here in Baltimore. We want Soto. We'll give you, 5, 6, 7 minor leaguers for him. But they're sellers. They are selling right now. And that really, really, I'm sure the Baltimore fan base is not liking this. You're 3 out of the wild card. And it's not like, you're chasing 3 teams. You go out here and win 2 series in a row, you're right back in it. That's all you got to do. Steve Harrington, hello, how are you doing? I really am surprised they traded Mancini too. I was of a thought that he was up there with Ripken Jr. Obviously not, but they've traded him, and they've also gotten rid of their closer today. So they've got actually one of their bullpen guys. They got rid of a bullpen guy, and they're not finished selling yet. From all indications, we'll see what happens. Christian Vasquez yesterday, he's been interviewed by 5 reporters, 1 Boston reporter, 4 Houston reporters. Somebody comes by, whispers in his ear, he starts crying. They ask him what's happening, and he says, I'm sorry, guys. I've got to go in this locker room now because I just got traded from across the way. Boston is playing against Houston. So I'm not even sure he was able to play last night. It was such late in the evening. He was on the starting lineup. He was listed on the starting lineup for Boston. And the general manager trades him before the game. I guess he didn't even tell the manager about it. Somebody needs to really talk to somebody about that situation. But we'll see what happens there. Going back to Ohtani. Ohtani right now, I would say, would be the highest price guy you could go after. He could stay in L.A. LA's got the pieces and the means that they could get rid of. I'm saying they will get rid of Kershaw if they can get Ohtani. If they can get 3 or 4 more pieces. Obviously, Angels are going to want a lot of pieces for him, but they're not going to want a bumped up salary. That's the bad thing about um, going out and getting Kershaw. The Dodgers would have to eat a lot of that salary. Juan Soto, the wire is pretty clean on him other than San Diego right now. Is San Diego going to take Juan Soto and in that trade attach Josh Bell with him? That's the only way the Nats want to get rid of Soto right now. They want a Josh Bell Juan Soto trade, but they're wanting that pitcher from the Padres that the Padres said we do not want to get rid of. I still say Soto stays put. One, Josh Bell, I think Josh Bell could be in Cleveland playing with the Guardians by tomorrow. He could be in Toronto. He could be in Seattle. Also, don't rule out St. Louis. That could also happen. A name nobody's hearing is Charlie Blackmon. Charlie Blackmon is another name that could seriously be gone by the end of the day today. Chris Bryant last Wednesday, Captain Hook, what's going on? Chris Bryant last week was found to have plantar fasciitis. That's a foot injury. Foot and back, they're the two places you do not want to have trouble if you are playing a game such as baseball. You got to run, and you got to be able to bend over. What's up, Ben Pincus? What's going on? To me, if I'm the Rockies, I'm selling Charlie Blackmon. You got to try to find where somebody wants him. You know, if the Padres are willing to go after Soto, don't be surprised if they don't get Juan Soto. They go after Charlie Blackmon in Colorado. Eddie Munson, what's up? Madison Bumgarner, by all accounts, he's going to be gone by the end of the day today. The D-backs, noon yesterday, said we don't want to hear any more talks about Bumgarner. Today, it's all heated back up again, and looks like he could be going to the Blue Jays. I don't know his status as to whether he has had his vaccination or not. That's huge. If not, Philadelphia is a perfect landing spot for Madison Bumgarner. If we're talking about Philadelphia, let's stay on Philadelphia. Ian Happ, Toronto and Philadelphia with him as well. Once again, I don't know his vaccination status, but we'll see there. When you're talking about Toronto, I guess you still got to bring in Wilson Contreras in this thing. What do you think will be the most surprising trade made today? I think it's going to be the non-trade. I think Juan Soto will stay put in Washington. I think he stays put in Washington. Question of the day. Every team in the major leagues but one has had 30 home runs hit in 3 seasons by one player or different players in the last 17 years. But there's one team that's not had any 30 home run hitters in the last 17 years. Don't look on your phones, guys. Don't look on your computers. Think about it. What team in the last 17 years has not had any 30 home run hitters? Like I say, we're talking about Wilson Contreras. He could end up with San Diego Padres. The Mets a little more likely, I think, but I think he's going to end up with the Rays. I think Wilson Contreras, perfect fit. He goes to Tampa. They've got a ton of minor league pitching, and most of them are good. Tampa has some really good minor league pitching. They can afford to go after. They can afford to go after somebody like that. And Contreras would be a good piece, a really good piece. They've got the pitching. They could use a couple more bats, especially in lieu of Kevin Kiermaier being out now. It looks like possibly for the season. What baseball organization, big market or small, are or run the best. Well, Tampa is run. Tampa, what's up, Ryan White? I think Tampa is one of the top 5 run organizations out there. They 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 homegrown 90% of their players. They sell a lot of times when they're at their highest point. They sell them and they get back a king's ransom almost every time. They get players that other teams call dumpster fires, but they really, really go out there and try. And Tampa does put on at least enough of a mirage to at least show that they're going for the playoffs every year, and they get there. Uh, they've got some injuries this year. They're fighting through a lot of injuries. In fact, we'll see what happens. It's going to be huge if they make the playoffs this year, but they've got the talent to do it. They really do. We were talking about injuries. Mike Trout with the lower 4 and 5 on his back. That they're not deteriorating, but it's a rare form of back injury, of back problems, and he's got it now, and he's missed some games. Why don't you sell Ohtani? Why would you not sell Ohtani right now? Do you think Aaron Judge takes steroids? Doubtful, very doubtful, very doubtful. We'll see what happens there. Also in on the trade market, Will Smith leaves the Braves and goes to the Astros for Jake Odorizzi. Odorizzi pitched for the Twins some. So the Braves get rid of reliever Will Smith, and they get Jake Odorizzi from Houston. So. Do you think White Sox get anybody today? I do think White Sox could get some players today. I think there's a great chance they could get Josh Bell. I think there's a great chance they could get Nelson Cruz. And if you really, really wanted to talk to us about somebody that they could really go after, how about Wilson Contreras? I think there's a chance he could be going across town before it's over with. He's not listed on the wire right now as hot prospect by any team other than these other 3 teams, but it wouldn't surprise me if the White Sox pop up at the last, the 11th hour, go out and get Wilson Contreras. Ian Happ, he had been whispered about Pittsburgh and the White Sox the last week and a half, and now Toronto has done stuck their name in the hat. We'll see what goes on there. Do I think the White Sox go after Soto or Ohtani? Nah, I don't think so. They could go after J.D. Martinez. Wouldn't surprise me a lot. Better shot at the Super Bowl this year, Rodgers or Brady? We'll talk about that in our show when we got baseball going on. Football going on. We'll talk about that when we got baseball going on. Yeah. North Syndergaard. He's another guy that could end up being gone by the end of the day. I've said all along, I think he's going to the Philadelphia Phillies. I still think he will. I think Madison Bumgarner could end up going to the Philadelphia Phillies. I know the Phillies are going to have to give up something. By all the indications, I think a lot of teams want Bryson Stott. He's a young middle infielder, can bat left-handed. He's not a bad situational hitter either, and he's really came in for the clutch this year for the Phillies. Phillies don't have a lot in minor leagues, but they do have a few minor league pitchers, and that could be playing into it before it's over with. But I really think Syndergaard ends up in Philadelphia. I think there's a great chance Bumgarner gets there as well. Yeah. That's a sign that trades are imminent. They're home too. The Nats are home. Let's see who they're thinking about pulling up from the minors. They have not made any. They have not called up anybody on the wires yet from the minor leagues. You got to start wondering. Yeah, Jorge Lopez from exactly right. He left the Orioles. He's gone to the Twins. Um, yeah, the Orioles are in sell mode. They're in sell mode. They are right there, 3 games out of the wild card. And look, a low budget team, if you're ever going to buy, why would you buy when you're at least in contention? I, you know, that's my problem. Um, we'll see what ends up happening there before it's all said and done. Brewers are getting Matt Bush from the Rangers. Matt Bush traded from the Rangers to the Brewers. Um, the Brewers were trying DK Bowser. What's going on? There's no doubt the Brewers were trying to free up money when they get rid of Josh Hader, but they're not sellers. They are not sellers. Um, Jason Carver, what's going on? It's a great day to be a baseball fan. Trey Mancini, obviously yesterday, that was a big blow for the Oriole contingent. If you're a fan of them, a lot of folks have Mancini uniforms, or jerseys, or whatever. Especially with what's happened to him in the last couple of years. He goes to the Astros, and the Orioles now have got rid of um, their minor league pitcher as well. Uh, Going to their relief pitcher going um, to the Twins. They're sellers. They're sellers, folks. And if you're a Baltimore Oriole fan right now, you got to be a little bit pissed. I would say you got to have a little bit of a spur, under your saddle. That Jorge Lopez ends up going to the Twins, as well as Trey Mancini goes to um, the Astros. Astros are loading up. They really are. They are ready for anything now. We got to see what's going to happen with Ohtani before it's all said and done. Um, you can go out here and say any player is untouchable, But trust me, when you get a phone call and says, "Okay, I want Ohtani, I'll give up this, 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 and this." The Angels got to be listening to it. They've got to be listening to it. They're crazy not to be, especially in a year that their GM may get fired. Why wouldn't you try to at least get as much value for him as you can? And I'm a huge Washington Nationals fan, and we're in the bottom of the baseball this year. Yeah, I actually got a friend of mine. I will show you guys a picture or two that went to the Nets game Friday evening. And let's see if I can show you guys some pictures. Really had some real good pictures. Hey, you got an autographed ball signed by Juan Soto. Yeah, here we go. There's Soto. That's how close he is to the field to him. Yeah, Juan Soto to sign him a ball. Steve Strasburg gets, plus they limit his innings so often too. So it's nothing like being on the front row. Nothing like being right on the front row there in a cushy seat. He got one of the cushy seats. And the Nets, they are no doubt about it. He was right up on top of the field. I mean there's a field view from where he was sitting. So hard to beat that. Strasburg does get injured too much. Plus, on top of that, they limit his innings. They've limited his innings for the whole time he's been there. Also, if you're the Mets fan, Jacob deGrom pitches tonight. That's huge. That is huge because in the chance that he does let you down and ends up maybe getting hurt. He's been almost 13 months since he pitched. So, Padres are getting close to landing Juan Soto from the Nats. The deal is not yet finalized. What if we see 100 trades today? It could have. I mean, I don't think we'll see 100, but there's a good chance. I still say Soto doesn't get traded. And they're talking about, even on Baseball Network right here, the Wire is not saying much about it. It really is not. They're Sporting News, MLB.com, they're laying low on it right now. But by all indications, Soto could be a Padre. And if he does, you better believe Josh Bell will be included in that deal. They're not going to let Soto go without turning Bell loose as well. It's going to drop like a bomb, says Slouse. I still say it's a chance it does not happen. I still say there's a chance it doesn't happen. Obviously, it could. That limits, what Washington can do. Patrick Corbin. I mean, he's been a bum starter for the last 2 years. Maybe they can unload his salary. Obviously, they would be looking to do is maybe get a minor leaguer and pay part of his salary. So we'll see what happens there. Daniel Vogelbach has been acquired by the Mets. Vogelbach, was he with the Brewers? Vogelbach? I'm not sure. Somebody can help me out there. So we still haven't had anybody guess the team. Every team in the major leagues has had at least 3 seasons of somebody hitting 30 home runs in the last 17 years. But there is one team in the major leagues that has had no 30 home run hitters. Nobody has hit 30 home runs for one team in the last 17 years. Jim Bowden says there's strong momentum going around the league right now for Soto. Everybody believes the momentum for Soto to the Padres is gaining steam. This happened last year with San Diego and Scherzer, but people think nothing official, but the Nats getting the Juan Soto deal is imminent, they're saying. We'll see. I still think there's a lot of smoke there. Anytime you talk about smoke, there's fire close by. But like you said, Scherzer's deal last year was 11th hour, and San Diego failed. San Diego makes a lot of sense for Soto in 2 or 3 ways. But I'll tell you, another team that could get him would make just as much sense would be Seattle. Seattle they're in a dogfight right now. Why wouldn't you go after Soto? You get Josh Bell in the process. That saves you from having to go out here trying to buy or lease Nelson Cruz or Joey Votto or Gallo. Do you think Madison Bumgarner would ever get traded back to San Francisco? Not this year. The Pirates is not the team. Nope. My guess is Tampa Bay Rays, says Slouse. No, it's not the Tampa Bay Rays. The Vogelbach trade was a week or 2. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. We got you. San Diego would have a heck of a lineup. And the thing of it is, they're not even counting Josh Bell in the lineup right now if they were to trade for him. So it could, it would be big. Bumgarner, I think if Bumgarner gets traded, he comes back east. He's a North Carolina kid. He's from the South. Cleveland Guardians is not the Cleveland Guardians. No, it's not. I think Bumgarner would be a great fit in Philadelphia. He has been up there, and San Francisco Giants is correct. They have not had a 30 home run hitter since Barry Bonds. How about that? Barry Bonds. Since he left, they have not had a 30 home run hitter at all. No years. So Brad Hitman Hills ends up winning that question of the day. And Very good. Very good deal. Uh, what? And also, give me your team, the team that you like. Okay, you're a fan of this team. Just throw your team up there, and behind it, put whether you think that team should be buyer or seller. Let's say your team is Minnesota Twins. Obviously, I think Minnesota should be buyers. They're in first place. Why would you be sellers in first place? In fact, I picked them to go to the World Series. Now, they're going to have a tough road to hoe to pass the Yankees or to pass the Astros. But I think in the short series, they can play. And they've got some speed. That helps a lot. Um, Tigers fans, sellers. Yeah, Tigers have got some pieces they could sell. They really do. Um, they've got some good pitchers that they could put on the market. I don't know whether they want to or not, but they've got 3 or 4 really, really good pitchers, minor leaguers. I mean, relievers and starters. Tigers definitely. I no doubt they're sellers. I'm with you there. Um, and it's tough to watch teams sell off their prospects or sell off a star player when you want to at least watch them the rest of the year. Yeah, I'm a Boston fan, and my first feeling is Boston should buy. Keep Evaldi. By all indications now, Nate Evaldi is going to get traded before the end of the day. He could be a Philadelphia Philly. He could be a Seattle Mariner. He could be a Cleveland Guardian. He could be a Minnesota Twin. He also could be a St. Louis Cardinal. I'm a huge Dodgers fan. I wonder who they are going to get today. Well, in the last couple of hours, JJ, I've been hearing Kershaw's name getting thrown around to where they may end up actually maybe getting rid of Kershaw. That's all financial though. You got to understand if they trade Kershaw, that maybe gives them a chance to go out here and get a Juan Soto. That's the only reason I would see them trying to do that. Trying to get rid of Kershaw, maybe get a couple of minor leaguers, open up that salary cap to where you can get Soto and bring in Josh Bell. That's because it's going to be huge. Because Bell's the big contract there. It's not Soto. It's Bell. Soto is not a big contract right now. He's not huge. You get rid of Kershaw, you can get both of them for less. Soto and Bell make less than Kershaw does this year. That's crazy. But, my gut feeling says that they hold on to Kershaw, but crazier stuff's happened. Crazier things have happened. We'll see. I kind of doubt he ends up going anywhere, but I think there's a chance if they really, truly think they can get Soto. And that last year, they pulled the rug up under the Padres then, getting Scherzer from this team. Don't forget, Scherzer was a quote-unquote done deal in San Diego last year. They had done everything but dry the ink on the paper. And then an hour later, 45 minutes later, we hear that the Dodgers have went out and got Max Scherzer. Would I be surprised if they went and got Soto and Bale? Not if they can unload some salary first. And that's, that would be the only reason they would go out here right now and try to get rid of somebody as big a name as Kershaw, is if they're bringing in somebody younger, very talented, and got a lot of years. They got 2 more years. They can control him for a little bit of, for peanuts compared to what they're paying Kershaw. So we'll see what happens there. 6 hours, 23 minutes left before the deadline of 6 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Nelson Cruz, he's with the Nats. And he's been very, very talked about just very lightly, not a lot. Um, all indications have got the Brewers and the Twins both looking at um, Nelson Cruz. Um, you got to think maybe St. Louis has got to be in on that. St. Louis has got to be in on it. If they are, probably Seattle is. Philadelphia could be in on Nelson Cruz. Um, they're going to have to settle up where what they're going to do with center field if they don't go out here and get Ian Happ. Um, I almost think that's an emergency trade that Philadelphia needs to make is getting Ian Happ from the Cubs. Cubs asking price, is going to be huge because they realize Philadelphia doesn't want to trade for him. They need to trade. Need and a want is totally different things. If you want to trade, you can say, well, I'll give up this, this, and this. And the other team doesn't have a whole lot of power as to say, well, add this as a sweetener. Nope. If you know how to say no. But I got a feeling Philadelphia, right now, they're in must-buy mode if they're going after Ian Happ. And we'll see what happens there. Wilson Contreras now. Things are starting to heat up on Wilson Contreras. I'm even getting a fourth and a fifth. Oh, my goodness. Wow. A fourth and fifth team now are in the mix for Wilson Contreras. The Seattle Mariners, as well as St. Louis Cardinals. Carlos Rodon could get traded. It could happen. It's looking more and more like the Giants could be traders by the end of the day. And then that brings in Brandon Bell's name. Brandon Bell is having maybe one of the worst years he could have this year. He's not going to bring much. He's just not going to bring much. But if you're going to be sellers with Rodon and some of these other guys, why don't you try to trade Brandon Bell? The Buster Posey situation over the weekend kind of surprised me when he announced his retirement. But why wouldn't you go after a Brandon Bell, especially if you can pay low? That's what you want to do. Pay low. And that's got every making in the world of a Tampa Bay trade. Tampa Bay does not overpay for their players. They go out here and get bargain basement prices, and then they try to pump them up to see what they can do. We'll see what happens. Breaking news: the Phillies traded Nick Castellanos to Walmart. We wish, right? We wish on that one. Yeah, they can't get that lucky. Final stages with the Padres deal. We'll see what happens there. Have you ever noticed when they talk about a trade for an hour reaching its quote-unquote final stages, a lot of times a team sneaks in the back door, and steals the eggs and the golden hen, too. It could still happen. Don't think it couldn't. Don't think for a second that Soto will not end up going to the Dodgers if he gets traded at all. We'll see. I've said all along, I think he stays put. I really do. Even though all wires are saying now, and Sports Wire is going nuts with Soto. So he may have actually already been traded, but the MLB network is not showing it yet. But the wire is going nuts right now at this point. It's going crazy. So we'll see what happens there. It could definitely could be something that I think they are hooked on to Bichette right now, and that's a problem. One person involved in Padres are nearly completing building the bridge to Soto. Josh Bell likely in the deal. I said that. They want to get rid of Hosmer and Myers and stay under the $230 million threshold. All right, that's another big name. Hosmer's also been talked about going to possibly a Cleveland. Hosmer could end up going to Philadelphia. Uh, Philadelphia has so many corner corner infielders already, or outfielders. They need center field help in a worse way. And I just don't know if they're going to go after Hosmer or not. But if you're the Nats, do you really want Eric Hosmer? I don't know. I mean, he's been a quote unquote journeyman for a few years. Myers, well, Myers, he can make some sense for you, but I don't think. To me, that doesn't sound like a great deal for him. Why would you rather have some kids, some minor league pitching, lefty, righty, couple relievers, couple start, whatever? But that does not sound like a lot for Soto. If I am Washington, I stay put. I do not let last minute push me in the back to make this trade. I would stay put. I would not do it. Noah Syndergaard's trade front is slow. Nobody really discussing anything about Syndergaard right now. That's one that could go to the 11th hour and be a quiet trade. Syndergaard and cash for a minor leaguer. I mean, it could happen. Don't be surprised if it does. Ohtani looks like now he's probably going to stay put in L.A. I said all along, I think he should stay in L.A., but I think he should be a Dodger. Get rid of Ohtani. And in the process, if you want to unload Rendon with him, try to unload some salary. If you're the Angels, get as many good young players as possible, and maybe get a little chunk of money on top of that. I would not blame you at all. I'm a seller if I'm the Angels. Um, Nelson Cruz, Washington, the normal players you would think he would be included with: Toronto, Washington, Milwaukee, Minnesota, St. Louis, and Seattle were all in the talks. What if the Mets brought back Syndergaard? I think they're in pretty good shape now. Getting DeGrom back tonight, they're in pretty good shape. Soto makes $27 million right now. I didn't realize he made that much. And Musgrove now making $20 million. So yes, it is. It is official. It is official. It is. You're right, Slouse. Juan Soto has been traded to San Diego, the Padres. Juan Soto, Josh Bell, both going to the Padres. You got to wonder how much money is going to get included in that. I'm surprised by this one. I really am. So Soto is a San Diego Padre. Now, let me ask you guys this. What's the chances that Josh Bell still gets traded once more, being that it's this close, this close to deadline time? I think there's a great chance he gets traded. And maybe for peanuts now. You want to kind of unload that salary if you're San Diego. And there's a lot of teams that would love to have a switch hitting first baseman / DH. He's a righty and a lefty. I'm talking about Bale. And he's had a heck of a year. Not a bad year. Very good year. To me, I don't know whether they would trade within division to Philadelphia. Cleveland, like I say, Milwaukee, Minnesota, St. Louis, Seattle. They all make sense. If you'd asked me 2 days ago, I'd have said the Orioles. But the Orioles are sellers. I don't understand what the Orioles are trying to do. Padres should trade Josh Bell to the White Sox for 10 dozen Chicago-style deep dish pizzas. Yeah, why not, right? It's a done deal there. So I still think Bale could be going somewhere before the day's out. We'll see. Obviously, it can't be that many teams in the hunt, But 2-3 days ago, I would have definitely said Baltimore is going to be buyers. Not huge buyers, but that wouldn't have been a huge buy to go ahead and get Josh Bell, maybe to help your corner infield, DH position, and guess what? Off the bench, he is gold when you're a switch hitter. Notes. The Nats. Yes. Hassel, Abrams, Wood, Susana. So they're not getting a ton, but they are getting Abrams. C.J. Abrams is who they wanted. That is who they wanted. C.J. Abrams. That is who they wanted. They get C.J. Abrams from the Padres. Now the Padres have to be done. I really thought there was a chance they may go after Syndergaard. They may go after Bumgarner. It doesn't look like that now. It does not look like it. Plus, the Orioles have a couple of starters. Is there a chance they unload? Boston, Nate Eovaldi, could he be gone before the end of the day? There's a lot of good players out there. Relief pitcher for the Dodgers. Looks like he could be on the move before the end of the day. We'll see what happens there. We will see what happens there. This is very, very interesting here. How much buying will the Pirates be doing? They're not buying at all. They're selling. They're in fact thinking about selling their outfielder today. Their star outfielder. So they're sellers just like the Orioles are, which they should be. They should be sellers. They should be, not the Orioles. The Orioles should be in buy now mode and get what we need right now. Not buy out just to be buying out. But San Diego, I think they realize they're a wild card team at best. They're 12 games out of first place. Dodgers have run away with this bad boy, 69-33. So they've played 102 games. They're only 60 left, and they're back 12. They're not catching the Dodgers unless the Dodgers just have, some really, really, really bad days. I don't think they can catch them. If they did, they'd have to go probably 48-12. I don't think that's going to happen. Do you think the Astros are done making trades? Probably not. Probably not. They probably would love to slicken up their bullpen a little bit more. They got Will Smith from the Braves a little while ago. Nate Eovaldi has been one of those long relievers, those 4, 5, 6 inning relievers, especially on bullpen day. Nate Eovaldi going to the Astros would not surprise me. Plus, they can look eye to eye to each other. They're playing down in Minute Maid Park right now. It makes all the sense in the world. Nate Eovaldi to the Houston Astros. We'll see what happens there. Deshaun Watson issue done now, or will there be appeals? It's looking like the league's going to appeal that situation. It's 6 games right now. I know the league wants 12 to a year or more. And if they get a year, that's they call it year plus. So what it would be the whole season. Then they have to reevaluate things 12 months from now. That's really, really what they want. We'll see what happens there. Chances are it sticks 6 games, but your team could be out of it by then. If division leader is 5-1, and you go 1-5, very, very difficult to dig out of a hole that deep. So we'll see what happens. Man, oh man. Dodgers are still in talks. Dodgers are in talks. they're in talks with the Phillies. Dodgers are in talks with the Phillies right now. That could be interesting for the Phillies closer role. So we'll end up seeing what happens there. Who are they gonna acquire? But Nationals are getting Gore too, so they're getting 5 players in that deal. It's looking more and more better for the Nats now as we look at it through the afternoon. But it's looking like the Dodgers are not done trading yet. Soto, I'm not going to take him off the board, but obviously you got to think they're probably done doing what they're going to do with him. Josh Bell, huge question marks whether they're going to save him or not. I think they'll trade him. I think you got to try to trade Josh Bell. He's not a bad piece to have. Ian Happ, the wire is not very hot on him right now. Toronto, Philadelphia look like a 2 landing spots possibly for him. I would have even said Baltimore a couple days ago with Happ, but they're sellers. Baltimore would have made a perfect home for Ian Happ. Not happening. Wilson Contreras, 5 teams after Wilson Contreras, and now looks like the Rays are in the lead. Maybe the Padres second, the Mets third, Cardinals, and Seattle. That's pretty tough there. Joey Votto. If you're the Yankees, you would love to get rid of Votto, but you probably don't want to take his market value right now. His value is sucky. I mean, way down. I mean, would you even just say, look, we'll take his contract off your hands. You pay us $5 million for the next 3 years to help us cut costs, and I guess it could happen, but we'll see. I just think Josh Bell probably ends up getting traded before this deadline. I'm going to go here in just a minute. We're getting to be almost 12 o'clock. I've been here almost an hour and a half. I'm going to tell you guys where I think everybody goes. I may come back on for a 4 p.m. show to stay on to 6. J.D. Martinez, I'm going to give you 3 destinations. Number 1 will be the one I think the best, second, and then third. J.D. Martinez, I think, ends up in Seattle. If that does not happen, watch for J.D. Martinez to land in Minnesota. If that does not happen, watch J.D. Martinez out for Philadelphia. I think that could happen. Ohtani. I see to the Twins for prospects. Yep. Shohei Ohtani, I think he stays put. If he were going somewhere, no. So Ohtani does not look like he's going to get traded. Mariners and Yankees tonight. Castillo for the Mariners now goes against Garrett Cole of the Yankees. Josh Bell has already gotten traded. I think there's a great chance he will get traded again before the deadline. Madison Bumgarner, not been traded yet. Bumgarner is staying firm and saying, I don't think I'm worth $20 million. So we'll see what happens there. Charlie Blackmon, that's a far pick out there. It could happen, but it's a far pick. Noah Syndergaard, Cardinals, Guardians, Rangers. I mean, not Rangers. Twins, and Brewers. Those 4 teams, as well as Seattle, those 5 teams could really stay in there, try to get Charlie Blackmon. Noah Syndergaard, we'll see what happens with him as well. Padres do officially acquire Soto and Bale from the Nats. So Padres, the rich get richer. I see the Orioles trade a closer to the Twins. Toronto, too, maybe for Noah. Syndergaard, as he already had his shot, as he had his the vaccine. They seem to be all crazy about that. If you don't, we'll see what happens as far as where he could go. If he's had his shots, he probably could end up going to Toronto. Nelson Cruz, Milwaukee, Minnesota, St. Louis, Philadelphia, Seattle. I don't see where it's anything wrong there if you get the chance. My goodness. He is vaccinated. Okay. Ian Happ. Ian Happ now. Toronto is talking about trading for Ian Happ. Possibly 4 minor leaguers for Ian Happ. That's big. Wilson Contreras. Not seeing anything right now on him. Joey Gallo, Joey Votto. We'll see what happens there. But it looks like Ian Happ's name could be one of the next ones to get flipped over in for trade. We'll see what happens. Do leave your comments down below. Give me a like, and how about a thumbs up too as well, if you will. I can't see the thumbs ups from here. I can't see that. And Hosmer did go in that trade. Hosmer is going to the Nationals. So San Diego got a little bit of what they wanted. They wanted to get rid of that salary. I knew they did. It probably does happen. 6 hours left until it's over with, guys. This show is not over with. This merry-go-round circus is not over with. I was wrong on Soto, no doubt about it. I said Soto would probably stay put. Padres now, obviously, they're 12 back of the Dodgers. I don't think the Dodgers are worried too much about the Padres. I really don't think they are. They just have to take care of their business. They'll be fine. Wilson Contreras, I say, goes to the Rays. Ian Happ looking more and more like Toronto. I would have told you Philadelphia for sure yesterday, but not now. Nelson Cruz, it's looking like he may go back to Minnesota. I for some reason, I'm thinking Nelson Cruz will end up in Minnesota. Noah Syndergaard, I'm going to say Philadelphia. I think the Phillies need him in the worst kind of way. Charlie Blackmon. How about if he gets back with Nolan Arenado in St. Louis? That would be a huge landing spot for Charlie Blackmon. That would maybe put them over the top in that Central Division. Madison Bumgarner. 2 weeks ago, I would have said he's definitely going to be a Philly. He may stay put. If not, he could easily go to the Rays. J.D. Martinez, I'm going to still say he ends up in Seattle. We'll see what happens. I do want to thank everybody for coming out watching the video today. Juan Soto traded to the San Diego Padres in a deal along with Josh Bale, Eric Hosmer, and a ton of other players are coming to Washington and that's big. Let's see who all Washington. Uh, uh, they get Mackenzie Gore, Robert Hassel III, C.J. Abrams. He's a shortstop. He's not the pitcher. Maybe the pitcher they were looking for was Gore then. Outfielder James Wood, right-handed pitcher Jarlin Susana, one more major league player, and we found out that it is indeed Eric Hosmer. So it's a 6-for-2 deal. I like what San Diego's doing right there. Jays should trade for Ian Happ and Marcus Stroman from the Cubs. They've had Stroman in the past. They've had him in the past. The Jays have, and they know what he's capable of. I don't know if the Cubs are going to trade Stroman or not. That's a little iffy there if the Cubs get rid of him. David Robertson, yeah, the Phillies don't want to see David Robertson anymore. If you remember him, 3 years ago, I think. He pitched 3 innings in the first game of the year, got hurt, he was out for the year. And I want to say 13 or 14 million. They overpaid for David Robertson. 14 million for 4 innings, 3 innings or something. It was terrible. It did not look good anyway. The first week of the season, he's out. So Eric Hosmer, how old is Eric Hosmer? Eric Hosmer has to be getting to be 33 or 34. He can't be a young chicken anymore. Age of Eric Hosmer. Yeah, he's only 32. October, he'll be 33. So, that's not terrible. That's not terrible at all. What if the Phillies brought back Odubel Herrera? Well, he is back with them. He's back with the team. We'll see what happens there. So, Nats get a first baseman, a shortstop, 2 outfielders, a lefty, and a righty pitcher. I just don't know if that's enough. The Hosmer situation, I would not have wanted him, but they may have said the only way we're going to make this trade is you tell us who you want or whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we're going to get rid of Hosmer in the process. I guess it could work for him. We'll see how it does go down, but it's crazy. It really looks like it's going to be nuts. But David Robertson, I keep hearing Seattle there. Any of those Midwest teams, Milwaukee, Minnesota, St. Louis, why not? If you get the chance to get him, go after him. We'll wish everyone a great day the rest of the evening. And, we'll see where everybody ends up at. Have a great day. God bless. And thanks for joining the Jabroni Network. Bye-bye, guys.